My name is Chidi, and this is how my boss treated me before he settled me.
The humid air in the Alaba International Market didn't just hang, it stuck. For Chidi, it tasted like soda fumes, diesel exhaust, and the copper tang of 1,000 stripped wires. He was in his 7th year, the final lap, they called it. In the world of the Igbo Apprenticeship, this was the year a boy became a man, the year his Oga was supposed to settle him, buying him his own container, stocking it with electronics, and blessing his transition from servant to shop owner. But for Chidi, the final year had become a living nightmare. The weight of the grudge. His master, Oga Vincent, was a man whose heart seemed to have hardened in proportion to his bank account. They sold high-end home theaters and Belgium-used television sets, while the other apprentices, some as young as 10, looked up to Chidi as the senior boy. Oga Vincent looked at him with a growing, inexplicable resentment. Maybe it was because Chidi had become too good. Chidi could fix a Sony main board that even the specialist engineers in the market had written off. Customers started asking for the boy with the steady hands instead of the master. Chidi, Vincent's voice would bark over the noise of the market's generators. Why is that customer leaving? You think because you have small beard on your chin you are now the owner of this shop? Come and scrub the floor, now. The maltreatment wasn't just verbal. In that final year, Vincent stripped Chidi of his small comforts. He was forced to sleep on the hard wooden benches of the shop to guard against thieves, while the junior boys stayed in the boys' quarters. His rations were cut, Vincent claiming that too much food makes a man's brain sluggish for business. The worst part was the psychological warfare. Every week, Oga Vincent would find a reason to threaten the settlement. I saw the way you looked at that money the customer paid. You have a thief's eye, Chidi. If one kobo goes missing from this shop, forget your settlement. You will go back to the village with nothing but the clothes on your back. The breaking point. One rainy Tuesday, 3 months before the December settlement date, a brand new OLED TV, the most expensive item in the shop, was found with a cracked screen. Chidi knew he hadn't touched it. He had seen Oga Vincent's son, a spoiled teenager who visited the shop, playing near the crates the evening before. But when Vincent saw the crack, he didn't ask questions. He picked up a heavy charging cable and lashed out. "You want to ruin me before you leave?" Vincent screamed, the cable whistling through the air. Chidi didn't cry out. He stood there, taking the stings on his back, his eyes fixed on a pile of disconnected speakers. He felt a coldness settling in his chest. He had given 7 years of his youth, his sweat, his holidays, his health to this man. And now at the finish line, the man was trying to break his spirit so he wouldn't have to pay the debt of settlement. For the next month, Chidi was treated like a pariah. He was made to carry the heaviest crates alone. He was banned from talking to the big-time importers. He grew thin, his ribs beginning to show through his faded Oga Vincent Electronics t-shirt. The market people whispered, "Vincent is wicked," they said, behind closed doors. He wants to serve Chidi a bitter leaf settlement. The ultimate test. 2 weeks to Christmas, a man dressed in a crisp white agbada stepped into the shop. He was a representative for a new hotel chain in Port Harcourt. He needed 50 75-inch screens and a synchronized sound system for a ballroom. It was a multi-million naira deal. Oga Vincent was sweating. He tried to explain the technical specs of the latest smart TVs, but he kept mixing up the refresh rates and the HDMI versions. The client was losing interest, looking at his gold watch. "Is there no one here who actually knows how these things work?" the client asked impatiently. Vincent hesitated. He looked at Chidi, who was in the corner, dusty and silent, cleaning a remote. "Chidi, come," Vincent muttered, his voice strained. Chidi stepped forward. He didn't gloat. He didn't look at his scarred back. He spoke. For 30 minutes, he broke down the technology. He explained why the hotel needed specific panel types for high brightness areas. He designed a layout for the speakers on a scrap of cardboard that was so efficient it saved the client 20% on cabling. The client was floored. Young man, you are a genius. Vincent, you are lucky to have him. I'll take the deal, but only if this boy supervises the installation. The settlement. The day of the settlement arrived. The air was thick with the smell of jollof rice and palm wine. Chidi's family had traveled from the village, his mother looking anxious, her hands gripping her wrapper. They had heard the rumors of the maltreatment. Oga Vincent stood before the gathered elders of the Electronics Dealers Association. He looked older, less boastful. He held a small ledger and a bundle of keys. Chidi has served me for 7 years, Vincent began, his voice gravelly. He paused, looking at Chidi's steady gaze. In this last year, I was hard on him. I told myself I was testing him. I told myself the market is a lion and I had to make him a tiger. He looked down, perhaps ashamed, or perhaps just realizing he almost lost his best asset. But the truth is, the boy surpassed the master. Chidi didn't just serve, he saved this business. Vincent reached into his pocket and pulled out a heavy envelope and a set of keys. I am settling him today, not just with a shop, but with 2 containers of stock, fully paid. And because of the hotel deal he closed, his first 6 months of rent in his new location are already settled. The crowd erupted in cheers. Chidi's mother burst into tears of joy. As the celebrations moved outside, Vincent walked up to Chidi. The 2 men stood amidst the towers of electronics that defined their lives. "You hate me?" Vincent asked quietly. Chidi looked at his hands, calloused, stained with lead, but now finally free. He thought of the cold nights on the shop floor and the sting of the cable. Then he looked at the keys in his hand. "The shop you gave me is called Grace Electronics," Chidi said. "If I carry hate, there will be no room for the grace. Go well, Oga." Chidi turned and walked toward his own future, leaving the shadows of the old shop behind him. He had entered Alaba as a boy with a plastic bag of clothes. He was leaving a man with the keys to the city.
I hope you enjoyed the story. Subscribe for more.